little more east.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he could tell. It wasn't quite the way he wanted. It was a little more that way, and we weren't quite facing the water.
When he first came here, did he take photographs, or did he sketch, or did he just look and take it in?
I don't think they took any photographs. I don't remember them taking photographs, but I might be wrong. His wife might have.
Was your, when you actually met him, what did you think of him as a person? Were you comfortable with him, or did it take
First of all, he's beautiful. You've seen his picture.
Mm-hmm.
He's, you know, this gray hair and beautiful, piercing blue eyes and Mephistophelian eyebrows, and stood very straight and walked very pointedly, and he was charming. We liked him immediately, and he was very concerned about what our needs and desires were. He wasn't just going to build a Neutra house. He wanted to build a house that we would like and that we could live well in. And, you know, he asked us a lot of questions. And actually, our dealings with him, even though he came about 4 or 5 times after that, were mostly by mail. And I have this big pile of letters if you at some point want to look at.
Well, that was my question, because I read in the Tashner book that there was a lot of correspondence between you and him, and so I was wondering if you'd saved that.
I did. I saved everything.
Also, there was some indication, I don't know if this is true or not, that his original concept for the house was different than what you have here. He wanted something longer, a longer plan. Is that
not at all.
True?
No, actually, there are some differences in the house from the way he designed it, but he designed this house pretty much in the shape it is. This wall, for example, he designed in stainless steel, with a stainless steel wood bend, which is right behind Todd. Yeah. And we just thought it was cold, and we didn't like it. And we told him. And he said, what would you like? We said, we think we'd like white brick. Maybe we said brick, and we painted it white. And he was perfectly agreeable to anything that we didn't feel comfortable with. He never said, oh, you should, except in one instance. I said, my husband didn't, but I said, the children are young. My oldest child was 8, my daughter was 2, and the third child wasn't even in our eyes yet. So I said, I want their bedrooms right near me, because I want to hear them at night. And he said, I won't do that. And I said, but you know, how am I going to hear them if they're not there? He said, you will thank me someday. And I thanked him one day. Children's rooms are down there, and our bedroom is up here. But that was a struggle. You know, I think there are some letters indicating the back and forth about it. Also, where the kitchen is, where there's an art wall over there, that was sliding glass windows. And it opened up completely so that we could look into the next door room, which was then the playroom. You know, there was a playpen and children's toys, and it wasn't anything like what it is now. And we had a lot of art we'd been collecting through the years, and we wanted a place to put it. We decided the kids were old enough now where we didn't want to watch them in the playroom anymore.
Right.
And we closed up that wall,
I see.
which he approved of, actually. I think he designed it. And this curved ceiling here, it's very anti-Neutra, right? Doesn't look like Neutra. No.
I've been staring at it, wondering whether I should ask.
No, you certainly can ask. He designed a table, and the lights were on the ceiling going down on it, and we decided we wanted a round table. We liked a round table. So when we got the round table, we had to do something about those lights in the ceiling, and we put that in. Another architect designed it.
So it's just applied, basically, that form.
Right.
But from the time of Mr. Neutra's first visit and his presentation of his first design, how long did that take?
You know, I'm very bad about time, but I would say it took 6 months to build the house. But the preliminary period, I don't remember. I know that we moved in October. And it couldn't have been October 55. It must have been October 56. Because our third child was born in December of 56. And he had to he built an extra room on the house then. He designed another
So
room.
from your first conversations with Neutra to your moving in, that was a year and a half, or that was longer? It must be.
You know what, I'll have to look at the letters, because it doesn't feel to me like it was a year and a half.
Yeah.
I can't be specific.
And Mr. Fales built it for you?
No, Mr. Fales went out of business,
Right.
and we got a wonderful contractor from New Canaan, whose name was Reineck, I don't remember his name just now, but he's gone out of business too. And we needed somebody who had built modern, and he built some of the houses in New Canaan.
I see.
So we hired him, and he was very good.
Uh,
Neutra wanted weekly mail from the contractor telling him exactly what he did, which I don't think the contractor did, but anyway, that's what he wanted.
Did Neutra design the fixtures and the handles and the lighting, or did you choose that?
Well, we chose it with him. Actually, we chose a lot of it without him. We went to New York to the design building and looked at things. But mostly it was his taste. I mean, the built-ins are his taste. Every room has built-in cabinets and drawers. And the fixtures, which were Moen fixtures in the bathroom, whatever, he designed all those. He was very up on design materials. And he did design those, yeah. His name was Dione, Dione. And I have to laugh whenever I think of Dione, because when the house was built and Neutra and his wife came and they were sitting in the living room, my two little young children were in here, and Neutra said, "Dione, why don't you sing for the Corwins?" I said, "Oh, okay." And we all went into the room next door, which has a grand piano, and she sat down and she started with a, whoo! She sang Leader.
Oh.
And my kids had never heard Leader, and they started to laugh. The two of them were sitting there laughing. I had to chase them out of the room. It was so embarrassing. And she was a good singer, but it wasn't my type of music.
what was she like?
She was lovely.
Yeah.
She was very sweet and very nice, but she absolutely kowtowed to him.
Yeah.
Anything he wanted. As a matter of fact, once when we went to, he was going to come see the house. The house was built and we were talking about whatever. And his wife called and said, "Mr. Neutra's not feeling well. Would you come and see him at the hotel?" And we had some materials, whether it was, I don't know what it was, but some materials. And we went to the hotel, and we walked into the hotel room, and he was in bed in his pajamas, wearing a tie. And I said, "Does Mr. Neutra always wear a tie to bed?" I said, "Oh no, but he would never entertain a client without wearing a tie." So,
That's great stuff.
and then he said, "Dione, why don't you wait, and I'm going to talk to the Corwins." And she went into what we thought was the next room. She closed the door, and about an hour and a half later, he said, "Okay, Dione, the Corwins are leaving now." And she opened the door. She had been sitting in a closet with her Olivetti typewriter on her lap, typing. Light was on in the closet, and above the closet there was an air hole of some kind. And that's where she'd been sitting for the last hour and a half.
Holy smoke. Was she doing a transcript?
Well, I don't know what she was typing, but she was doing something.
Uh-huh.
And there she was with this little Olivetti typewriter typing away. She was definitely a subservient European wife,
Yeah.
I'm going to change angles.
but very, very devoted. Wanted everybody to see the house from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, they'll walk up and they'll see this great view as they come up the stairs. And he wasn't excited about us doing this, but when we did it, he thought it worked out
Yeah.
well.
Now, were you friends with Joe Milsinger too?
With Joe Malzina?
Yeah,
No,
no.
no. I know all about him, of course, from my
Well, he
work.
lived in Westport.
He did?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Where did he live?
Off of Lomont's Road.
Huh.
In the 60s.
I didn't know that. Okay, to tell you about the house, it's all on one level. Downstairs is the basement, the oil burner, and a place under the stairs that we use for storage. It's not very pretty, I'll show it to you though. And our bedroom is at this end, kitchen over there, living room, family room, which was the playroom originally, and then down the hall is the children's wing. So that's the whole house. And I'll show you starting up here.
Therapeutic.
And whatever. And he never used it much, but anyway, we rebuilt the bathroom to accommodate that. So we did no longer have an entry to this as a guest bathroom, although guests can certainly come in through there.
It's great with the skylight.
Designed the furniture.
And did the general contractor make the built-ins, or did somebody else?
The general contractor.
It's nicely made.
Yeah, they're beautifully made. They really are. Because if I ever leave this house, they'll stay here.
Well, they're.
They don't go with me.
Yeah.
And I don't think you saw the river from here, did you?
Yeah.
In fact, we changed all these operating windows too, because they were louvered. All the operating
jealousy.
windows were jealousy,
Yeah.
louvered windows, and they leaked air too.
Yeah.
And so we subsequently changed all the windows.
Well, that brings a question to mind. I'm curious about Neutra's intimacy with the East Coast climate, and if he was aware of the severity of the climate, and did he make mistakes thinking living in California and a very different climate? Did he ask you about the climate? How did he?
We had to
How did he
send
deal
him,
with it?
We sent him a lot of information from the town and site maps and weather predictions and all that. But I don't think he was aware of the weather, because he wouldn't have designed the louvered windows if he did. And he sort of was surprised when we told him that they were leaking and we were going to replace them. And let's see. Well, I'm trying to think, there was some other issue that he wasn't aware of about the snow. Oh, I know. We talked about having a screen porch, and he said, "You don't need a screen porch. You can just go outside." I said, "Well, we have mosquitoes in Connecticut," and because we don't have a screen porch, but he wasn't aware of the mosquitoes in Connecticut. But we subsequently had air conditioning put in the roof, which is where it is now.
Right.
And that's, for example, the air conditioning unit in here, and they're throughout the house, and it makes a big difference.
To get back to my question, do you kids ever talk about growing up in this house? How did they feel about it? Did their friends think they were odd living in a modern house like this?
Oh, I don't know what their friends think. I know that my kids are all madly in love with this house. They grew up in it, and they just love it. But none of them will live here, because 2 of them are on the West Coast with careers out there, and 1 of them lives in Madison with a career up there. So I don't know. Maybe you guys do. What will happen when I go? The house will be sold, and I hope someone who appreciates Neutra will buy the house.
Well, we should talk about that in the future, another time, because maybe we could work with you in seeing that it got to somebody who would be a good steward.
That would be a big help.
Yeah.
There are ways of doing it.
A big
Yeah.
help.
Well, this isn't an appropriate time, but
Yeah,
I think
let's do that.
yes, because we've talked among ourselves what will happen to the house, and this is a question with all these houses: what will happen?
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you guys are preservationists, and that you do what you can to save contemporary houses in particular.
Yeah, it's the same question with the Rand House.
Yeah.
It's a property.
And toys and a workbench that my son worked on, and when the kids got older, we made it into a music
So-
room and library.
So those were always sliding doors there?
Yes.
Or you added I see.
No, the sliding doors were always there. We never closed them though, but we could. And we did when the kids were little, actually. I can't even do it now. I don't think you can do it anymore, maybe you can.
It's sticky.
Well, we never do it, so
Yeah.
that's where it is. Anyway, it's a very beautiful book. There he is again. And there we are talking with the person you would like to talk to. I don't even remember his name. So, you know, you can look through this later if you like. And these are photographs that you can look at later as well. There's Mitra walking around the construction.
Great photos. Who took the photos?
I don't remember. A friend of ours who was an architect named Oliver Lundquist.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Pretty well known.
Yeah, he was here. In fact, he's in one of these pictures somewhere. These. He came over to meet Northland. He probably took them. This is the correspondence,
Wow.
all of it. And it tells you about the times. Everything is on carbon.
That's good.
Carbon paper,
Yeah.
can you believe it?
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well have been 100 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Interesting.
And that's my family. So now this is the family room.
It's beautiful the way the cork is aged.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's aged and it really needs some work, but it's very quiet and it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they use it much anymore, do they?
You can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's actually getting more popular again. The idea
Oh,
of
is it?
renewable materials.
Good,
Yeah.
that's good.
Even linoleum is coming back.
Yes.
For the
Really?
same reasons, it's, you know, it's wood dust and jute,
Yeah.
so it's a, you know, it's a natural product. Armstrong is producing some of the original ones from the 30s.
And linoleum's used in hospitals because it's antibacterial.
Oh, well, those-
But, yeah, but this brings up an interesting subject about modern houses, modern buildings, about the
orange, yellow,
Did he
and
pick the
white.
card?
He picked
Can
the
you-
colors,
Can you
The
tell me?
exact color.
exact colors.
Yeah, it's a beautiful orange.
It really is.
Could
I
you,
love
could,
orange.
And I
Betty,
love
could you,
the combination.
Betty, excuse me.
Yeah. Here and as Paul Wren suggested, the orange, the white, and the yellow, and that's what we did. Is that okay?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Take two was perfect.
So this is the kitchen, really, exactly as it was.
The original range top.
No, this
Oh, this-
was the original range top, which is
Oh, I see. So you've traded out.
This
the
is
top.
the current.
And you kept the original
Yeah, well,
panel
because
there.
there was a hole there and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we just kept it there.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Oh. It
It's
looks.
like a control panel from NASA there. With all those
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the mid to late 50s, most of the GE products were push button like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what we had there.
Yeah.
That was the best you could get.
Yeah.
So this is the kitchen and washer and dryer. And then there's my office. And they were really ruined one year before we moved here, when we got these, and we were in a house that was flooded. And the pictures are not in very good shape, but I should show them to you anyway, just because they're what Neuter sent us.
Oh, my.
They're a mess, and I don't know if they can be restored or not.
Oh, wonderful.
Holy smoke.
My mother works, volunteers at the Morgan Library in the conservation department.
Really?
So I'm sure they would know how to restore these.
Really?
There's
Absolutely.
a very good conservator in Brooklyn who used to work for the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Yes.
Used to work for Boston Museum of Fine Art.
Yeah, and he could handle these too.
Wow, I should do something about that. And this is another one. This was the site plan.
Well, that's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, that one is. And this one, I don't think he did
That's a
this.
beauty.
I think an assistant must have done this because he would never have drawn such. I don't know, that isn't his style.
It's a little harsh.
Yeah,
Looks like acrylic. I wonder what
I
it is.
don't know. And this too, this is not,
But it's great.
yeah. I just, as I said, I took them from under my daughter's bed to show you. And I guess I should check either with your mother,
Yes,
Kim.
I will give you her, they're in Europe right now.
They're what?
They're in Europe right now,
Oh.
stranded in
Stranded?
England.
Oh,
They
Oh.
should have
volcano
been,
victims.
they should have been in Italy at this point, but
Oh.
looks like they're going to Brussels and
Hey, this is what
Corwin
my
and
daughter
Sam.
does. I don't know if you're interested, but I like to show her off anyway. She used to make these painted eggs,
Yeah, she,
and she invented an egg, which she called a message egg. And they're messages.
Oh, great. Was there an exterior door here at one point?
That is the exterior door,
Okay.
right
it
there.
is still an exterior door, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this actually was the outside of the house. It's painted now.
Okay.
And Neutra did the addition, or another
Yeah.
architect?
Neutra did the addition. This is an exit to the
Did
outside.
you ever go out to Los Angeles and visit him?
Well, we didn't visit him, but we did visit the house he lived in.
You did.
Yeah,
When was that? That was after you built?
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
a long time ago.
Mhm.
I can't tell you what year. But- So, forgive this, that's my son's, and I can't give it away, and he can't give it away, so.
It's for
And,
the grandchildren.
But somehow you've got
Got a lot of
custody
miles
of
on
it
it.
still.
yeah,
Right.
well, you know what happens with your kids? They leave everything in your house, and they move away, and they
Yeah.
never take their things with them.
My
So-
mother used to do you want this? And you also have to take this, and this.
So this was when my husband retired, he made this into his office, but we keep the bed because my son and his woman come and sleep in it. And, we just need to have room for the kids to stay when they come. And they all come Christmas time.
Now,
Yeah.
the tool shed, garden shed, was that designed by Neutra?
No, I don't think so. Can't remember. Maybe he did.
But it was built when
It
the
was
house
built,
was...
no, it was built after the house.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Because it strikes us as pretty clever.
Why?
It's thoughtfully done. We just wondered who did it.
Well, he did it, but I can't remember when. I don't think he did it when we built the house.
But you think he had something to do with it?
Yeah, he did it.
He
yeah.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we suspected as much.
The only Neutra tool shed on the East Coast, at least.
By far. It's handsome.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, so we think, I don't want to turn,
Yeah.
but we should follow up with the documents.
Maybe just a second to kind of follow up.
And the preservation issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could all...
Yeah. So I think we'll just sit down and wrap up kind of thing with the idea.
How do you go, Todd?
Hmm?
How'd your equipment go?
Well, reasonably well. I mean, I made probably,
Did you record
I probably
everything?
made some mistakes as far as I can tell.
Well, maybe this would just be not the
Would anybody like a cup of tea instead of coffee?
Coffee's fine with me. Thank you.
We're all coffee achievers. Well, Betty, we just thought that we should